Man, two things I want to talk about with this next topic here, because it's kind of two ways we all need to look at this. Near and dear to my heart. And I'm talking about the Florida Gators. Huge win versus LSU. And honestly, Billy, the future is now. The future is now, right? These boys, you can't be proud of how this team has been able to react, turn around, play for Coach Billy Napier. All right. Again, I apologize. I was one of the few that thought maybe he was gone, but he's proven he could coach, and that's the thing. Like usually, you get players that quit on you, players that don't believe in you, players that don't necessarily line up with you or believe in you. And this team hasn't quit. They're playing a lot of freshmen, and it's happening. Billy's vision for this team is coming to fruition, right before our eyes. So sorry to Billy for doubting you. But again, the future is now for Florida. This team never quit, and I think the starting point for this game was probably the Kentucky game. I think that was DJ's first start, and we'll dive into DJ here in a second. Probably that Kentucky, no, not Kentucky, the Tennessee game. That Tennessee game, when they went to overtime, remember, before, in fourth quarter, they could have went for two. They decided to kick the field goal, go into overtime, and lost to Tennessee. But that Tennessee loss probably was the start of this turnaround. All right, you're competitive against Tennessee. You beat Kentucky. Again, Kentucky beat Ole Miss, who we have this week. Kentucky almost beat Georgia, right? So you beat Tennessee. You lose Kentucky. You almost beat Georgia. Excuse me. You lose Tennessee. You beat Kentucky. You almost beat Georgia with a third-string quarterback after the injuries. Lost to Texas. Again, banged up. It is what it is. LSU, that was a gritty win. And now we got Ole Miss this weekend. I believe I want to quote Joel Klatt, who gives this phrase where when building a program, you have to lose big before you can lose small. You have to lose small before you can win small, and you have to win small before you can win big. We're seeing that before our eyes. Florida is changing. Again, not getting blown out, losing small games, right? Talk about the Tennessee game, winning tight games, LSU, Kentucky. All right, we're getting to that point where we start winning a couple more small games, and then this thing could take off, win big. So we'll see. It just gets me more excited heading into next year. And now we're one game away from being bowl eligible. We still have Ole Miss. We have FSU. God, I hate Florida State. We got FSU coming up. Ole Miss this weekend again. And it's about the future. You look at that defense. Secondary needs a little work. We already get it, but there's about 5 seniors on that defense that either start or rotate. Everyone else is underclassmen. Get it? It's a transfer era. People could leave at any moment. Hopefully that's not the case. From what we've seen here, hopefully these guys are returning back to play for Coach Billy Napier, or at least most of them, because they easily could have quit, and that would have been even a more sign that these guys were out. All right. So I think there's more of a chance for us to come back. Wide receiver, we're losing a couple key guys, playmakers at receiver. We beef up that offensive line. We got young running backs. We got a DJ. Locker room, you let me know what you think. Is this season a win for Florida, regardless of what happens? Or are we still waiting to see what happens? Do they get bowl eligible? What the situation is? But thus far right now in the season, is the season a win for the Gators and what they had to do to overcome everything? All right. And then another thing I want to talk about when it comes to Florida is we've waited 17 years for this. We've waited 17 years for a quarterback. We've waited 17 years for someone like DJ Lagway. All right. Last real quarterback was probably 06, 07 when we had Tebow. But I'm not even talking about Tebow as starter, because in 07, we had 2 Heisman eventual winners in the quarterback room. Tim Tebow and Cam Newton. Unfortunately, we know the thing that happened with Cam Newton. He never went on to play for Florida. But ever since Cam, we've been in a drought. Cam would have been our next man up. Maybe if he came a year later. All right? Because, he got his shine once Tebow would have left. But we've been in a drought since losing Cam Newton. Not saying DJ's going to be a Heisman candidate, but we have a solid QB in our offense now, and that's something to get excited about. When you look at some of the quarterbacks that we've gone through over the past 17 years, you talk about John Brantley, Gatorade Player of the Year, never really panned out at Florida. Jacoby Brissett ended up transferring to North Carolina State. Jeff Driscoll, another top recruit, Gatorade Player of the Year. It was decent. It was decent. You go to Morningweg, you go to Will Greer, who ended up transferring to West Virginia. Felipe Franks there for a little bit, had some good wins, beat Tennessee, ends up going to Arkansas. Graham Mertz, right, got hurt, and then there's some Trey Burton along the way. Now we have DJ Lagway, freshman quarterback. And since he's played and started, I think his record's 3-1 or 3-0 in the games that he's started and finished. We got a baller. We got a baller, Gator Nation. We got a baller. That guy right there. What up, Deuce? What up, Deuce? We got a baller. So why should we be excited? Same schedule we're heading into next year. Obviously, flip home and away games, right? We're seeing what DJ could do now, and the team's only going to get better, assuming we bring in the right guys. Obviously, we're recruiting. We're seeing some of the guys that are coming in already, and some of the recruits we're able to steal from a Florida State, a Georgia, etc. DJ's a stud, raw. He just needs repetitions. That's all I'm seeing. I'm just seeing a guy that needs more reps. He gets better each game, has a live arm, nothing but excited, especially, with what the future holds and all the young talent that we're seeing. So, locker room, talk to me. Do we have true excitement for DJ in the future of Florida, or are we still in the wait and see mode? I guess it's only time will